So, why did I become an owner? Well, coming on my 50s, I've got 3 children. I travel the world with my job. What's the one game that's always in town? Whether I'm in Reykjavik, whether I'm in Cleveland, whether I'm in New York, whether I'm in Cape Town, whether I'm in Mali, Africa, there's one game that's always in town. Football, as we call it, soccer in America. My kids have picked it up. My wife is Brazilian, so I damn sure better have started picking it up a little more than I already had when her and I got married. So soccer's become a part of my family. Secondly, why did I become an owner? I'm into making legacy choices now. I'm not interested in being a mascot. I don't mind being out there, being a face of some things, but I'm interested in more than just being a mascot. I've always dreamed of being in at the ground level and help building a team. I've always studied and appreciated general managers and the great sports organizations that have succeeded and lasted, or there's the All Blacks in rugby, or it's the Patriots in American football. They're things that I've always loved. Learning from coaches, learning from GMs, and learning from owners. And it's here in my backyard, Austin, Texas. So it's right at my feet. It's something I would have been involved with anyway. So I want to get at the ground level and say I want to get in the capital ownership. And Eduardo Margain, one of our owners, invited me in, and I hopped on board, and that's why I'm a part of it. When the idea came, it to me was like, absolutely, I'm in. How much can I get in? That became the challenge. How much can I get in? Because I wanted to be in more. Also, you get in places. I'm with an ownership group. We had a lot of decisions to make, a lot of things to measure. You know, with the performance center, do you invest and get that made at the time? Going through COVID, there's a lot of tough decisions that we had to make, and I think we ended up making, for the most part, most of the right decisions. At the same time, we had to build, reach out to our awareness, make sure that the city and our supporters knew what we were building, and they did, and we reached out early, and we stayed in contact early. We had to build our music, our baseline, to understand where we're going, get our countdown, build anticipation to the time that's coming up Saturday night to start the legend. The challenge for me, one of the cool things is, but it was a challenge, is where to back off. Like I'm in as minister of culture and an owner, okay? But I got to sit back. I'm not going to pretend to know what Claudio knows or to know what Josh knows. I look forward to, as I get to know the players and how we play, to going and picking their mind, and maybe throwing ideas out for my own entertainment. Maybe that's all it would be for. But I look forward to that. But now to sit back and let the pros, each person, do what they've been hired to do and what they do well. To sit back and watch that's been really cool. To build the team and to hire the right people that come in and you entrust them and their opinions, because they're in that position for a reason. Now, here we go. We're a week out. We've been talking about this. We've been building this brick by brick. We've been, getting our support person by person through the city. We understand it's Verde, it's Lisa's, but now it's live. Ooh. I just got some chills saying that. It is live now. I'm now starting to get looser, actually. I know we're coming up on game day. I'm not getting tighter. I'm getting looser because I'm having an exhale. A moment of, okay, we did it. Now we come to the table to eat. Now we get on the pitch and we play. Let's go. Let's go learn. We know what we're striving for. We know it's a 100-year war. We know that we're not going to have an undefeated season. We know that. We know these things. So how do we build? How do we learn? Now the fun starts. Now we play. Because we've been doing a lot of work. Now it's time to play. It doesn't need me to bring more attention. It's happening. I'm on the train with it. I'm on the train with soccer as a fan. I'm on the train with MLS as a fan. I'm on the train with Austin FC as a fan and a founder and an owner. We're starting to produce. Now that begins a little bit of momentum for soccer in America. Look, me as an international person who has a megaphone and a platform and has had international success, it just makes sense. I'm coming in on the great international game of football, but who am I representing in particular? My hometown team, Austin FC. Now I can have that conversation with people when I travel the world about my team and about soccer, and they'll know about them. And if they don't, I'll give them a T-shirt and let them know what we got and what we got going. I'm gonna have so much fun with these new conversations myself as I travel the world in every country. talking the game of football. And now I've got a badge to wear with it. And when I represent Austin FC, I'm representing the MLS. When I represent the MLS, I'm representing the game of football. So it's win-win-wins. Everything, they're all feeding each other. And I'm happy to be right here along with this for the ride, because soccer is on the come as a game in America. And we got the World Cup coming over here. We're going to be hosting the World Soccer. We're going to have the stage. We're going to have you on our front porch in a few years. That's extremely exciting there. So everything's just kind of lined up. I'm excited about the future, about where we are right here, and about where we'll be later on. Raising a trophy as an MLS champion. Let me go through some more blood, sweat, and tears. Let me go through a season or seasons, losses, wins, ups, downs, and get to the end. And if we raise that trophy, then I can tell you how I feel about that. Well, look, Austin, as you may know, Austin was a soccer town already, before Austin FC came. I mean, the viewership in Austin of the World Cups before we even had Austin FC is right at the top of the charts through America. So Austin was already a soccer city. It's a very diverse city. We have 150 people moving here a day. It's a city that's on the come. It's a very fresh, relentlessly optimistic city. Soccer, being the sport of New America, and being the game, the international game that is sort of, needs no invitation. There's always an invitation with soccer. It's the world's game. It's coming to here. We've got people from all over the world in our city that have never had a reason or a team to root for that represented the city of Austin. We have our Texas Longhorns, and that's our university, and that's sports there, but we've never had a team that represented the city of Austin. So it was time to get a team here, and I think, as you can see by the numbers, people had a fever for it. Austin is breaking a sweat and has a fever for Austin FC and to get this legend started that we're going to build. Well, let me give you some facts. I mean, and I was saying it earlier, Austin already being a soccer city before, FC came here. My children play soccer in this town. They play in their weekend leagues. It's not just soccer's not an afterthought with the youth here either, at all. It's a major participation by the youth, and there has been for years. I mean, I said you got 150 people moving here a day. All right? With that many people, we're one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. It used to be everyone that was here, most everyone went to University of Texas, that university. Most people that are here now did not go to the University of Texas. They're coming here looking for a team. They're from different parts of the world. We're no longer just a music town, a government town, a university town. We're a banker town. We're a lawyer town. We're a tech town. We're a very multicultural place, and soccer is that game that invites all cultures, all diversities to the stadium, to the pitch in a common language. So Austin's going to be very adept now to be able to go talk. An Austin fan can go talk Austin FC with a banker in London now, and a cab driver from Lagos. And a lot of those people are also live here. So we've got the universal language, and we already had the universal appetite. Plus, we already did great with the other common denominators that everyone loves, which is music and food. We just needed the third one, which was football. So yeah, it's just ripe. We had our academy was 8-2-1 last year, and we're only 2 years old, and we were out there beating a lot of teams that had been around and had an academy a lot longer than we had. So again, the fever pitch is just here, and it's the first time that Austin, the city of Austin, has a team that represents our city. It's the first time we can root for our city through a game. So look, we hear about culture with team building all the time in every sport. Well, it wasn't just about team building. It's for a team that's going to represent the city of Austin, I need to be there as someone who knows Austin really well, that the two are mirror images of each other. The team, how we play, the product we put on the pitch, what the fan experience is in that stadium. And so my goal as Minister of Culture, and what I'm doing is trying to align that snapshot from above Q2 Stadium on any given night when we play. If you take a snapshot from the sky and you zoom in, you should be able to see in the crowd the diversity, the creative colors, the vibrancy of Austin, Texas, that represent Austin, Texas in that stadium on any given night during a game. There is a culture in Austin. We are a come-as-you-are place. We, as I said, are relentlessly optimistic. We're highly creative. We like to win. We like to win well and win the right way and know how to wear our wins well after we do win. We're a growing city, and Minister of Culture, I'm hanging on to the DNA, making sure that the DNA of who we are and why we love Austin is still in place in the city and within Austin FC. Also, we're embracing progress. It's Austin 2.0. We're moving into a new day in Austin. We can't say yes to everything, but we're saying yes to a lot of things. So how do we do that? That's my job basically as Minister of Culture. And so that game, that on any given night when you're in that stadium, it should feel, smell, and taste like the best of Austin, Texas. And Austin FC is the representation of our city. Look, there's a lot to learn from LAFC. I went to a couple of games there, and it was obvious. One, the product was good on the pitch, but I talked to the owners, and what really came across is the owner says, you know, you got to do more than talk about it. You got to be there. The teams and a culture is the seed. You can plant the seed, but it's built by the supporters. And what LAFC did with the supporters there, how they empowered the supporters, is an example that we are learning from, and I've already worked on up to this point, given our supporters of Austin FC certain ownership and honor and privilege and influence and power, because they're who's going to be the lifeline of our culture off the pitch. You know, coming in back to Austin in June, yeah, I think it would be nice to go out and get a few scars on the road before we come back and play at Q2 Stadium. We open up with LAFC. We'll have a few more games after that. We're gonna, there's a lot of anticipation to go out there. We're gonna go out. We're gonna have our understood butterflies. We're gonna learn some things. Like I said, we are young. How much success can we have in year one? We'll see. But we're not looking at our entire Austin FC is not something we're looking. We've not built it in a day, and we're not going to be a fad. This is the beginning. The seed is planted to grow a big, strong oak, a legend. And as I say, it's a 100-year war, and we have the long view here for what we're building, what we're going to become. Will and I are just 4 words right now. We're having fun with some words back and forth. We're building our lyrics toward this. I'll probably talk to him before the game this weekend. We'll lay some sort of bet on it and start off, because I think we're going to have many more bets to come. Look, culture. What's the common denominator to this that I would say to the MLS, which I believe they're already doing to a great extent, but we need to double down on it, is you got to have a long-term view. There are shortcuts everywhere. Every business has a shortcut. Every one of us in our personal lives have shortcuts. Some of them are okay to have, some are okay to take. Most of the time, especially when you want to build something that you're saying, hey, I'm building something to last. I'm building something to become legendary. I'm building something where I'm going to have to make sacrifices early. Think long term. The game of football is not going anywhere. Now MLS has established itself. We have a fresh newbie coming into town in the MLS right now to the game of football in Austin FC. We've worked really hard to say, make the long term decision. Make the decision now that will pay us off, has a greater percentage of paying us back in success later. So that's when I say it's a 100-year war. Make the long term. If you go into something with an ownership's mentality, all right, not a renter's mentality, not I'd like to dabble in this. Maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll be around. Maybe we'll be the hot hand for the next 10 years. Then we'll get out. You're not going to make the right decisions. You're not going to make the right cultural decisions. If you go in with an owner's mentality, and I mean not just me as a literal owner, I mean just in the game of soccer, whether you're starting a team or whether you're a league, if you go in with an owner's mentality, you're thinking about, how is this legend? How can I build something that I'm going to hand down to the next generation? How do we have a nursery? How do we have a performance center? How do we have youth participation to where we're going to start having young men and women coming out of our farm system into our game, and out of our team into the national game and into the international stage? Think long term, your roots grow deeper and not just wider.
All right. Well, We appreciate all of our journalists joining us today. And Matthew, thank you very much for taking time out of your day joining us. And best of luck to Austin FC this weekend against LAFC. I'm sure we'll all be watching. Take care, sir.
Have fun. Appreciate it. Well, my favorite thing, and this is what this is why I love the game of soccer and why I really particularly love World Cup. In all of my travels, my biggest educator has been culture. You see different ways. It's like you see different styles in the game of football. You see different styles of play that, in many ways, represent their culture. It's the healthy kind of tribalism that the game is a stage for, that we could all learn in all political arenas. We could learn from sports in the game of football about healthy tribalism. And you see how tendencies and cultures are a little bit different, have different styles, and to see them go up against each other, to see people with an established or countries with an established brand of play that has been successful, to see if it holds the test of time, to see what teams remain at the top, whether it's the international teams, the German style of play, Brazilian style of play, a Spanish style of play, to see those come together and to not know which style is gonna win out. Is some of my favorite sporting events to watch, and that's why I love the World Cup so specifically. My family's got me, we go to Brazil. My wife's from Brazil. My kiddos, their favorite team in the world, hopefully up until Saturday night, is Brazil as a country. And I root for them too. And we've been in our family waiting and grinding, going, come on, get back to the top, Brazil, get back to the top. And then, funny stories. What would I have? Let me just go to this. Soccer, the ball needs no invitation. I call it the soccer ball, the greatest invitation in the world. What I mean by that, everywhere I've traveled in the world, we're in a square in Rome. Kids sitting around at a cafe. If you see a small kid or somebody over there kicking a soccer ball around, just go over there. Walk over. All of a sudden they boot the ball to you. You don't have to introduce yourself. You don't even have to say your name. It happens all over the world. People come together, kicking a soccer ball around, and they don't even have to say what their name is, where they're from. You don't have to speak. It's a great uniter. The ball is. That's my favorite thing about what the soccer ball represents.